Hello and welcome back to my shop. Today we're going to be working on a DIY project. I'm a little nervous of this one, but I have to get this done. Hot water boiler died and now I have to replace it. So come along, let's see how well I could do in swapping out an old hot water boiler for a new one. I don't want you to think I'm an expert or that I have a professional opinion that you can rely on to do this yourself. Maybe this day and age it sounds kind of selfish of me, but I don't want you to hold me responsible if you try to do this and you get hurt, or if you somehow hook it up wrong and ruin your boiler, or something happens and your house gets damaged. This is a fairly simple installation, but there are risks involved, and it's not something that I think you should take on lightly. You should definitely make sure of what you're doing, that you know exactly all the steps that you have to accomplish in the setup. And I don't think you should quite rely on YouTube University alone in order to do it. Reality is, if you're not 100% sure that you could do this on your own, you're probably better off paying a plumber or some sort of handyman that knows what they're doing to come in and set this up. One of the first things I need to do here is actually drain the tank. There's also a pressure release valve on the side here. I'm also going to turn that open and let that drain water out as well. Okay, so on my boiler, up here we start changing over to PEX system. I have a water shut off here for the intake for the cold water into the tank. I'm not touching the hot line. This is actually off. I got the breaker off already. So I shut off the water up here. So now I'm actually draining the tank properly. This is the hot water out. My hope and my goal is that I should only have to change out the electrical service, this cold intake and the hot intake, and move the old tank out of the way. This is on here by a threaded nut, so my hope is that I can undo these two, take the tank out once I got the wire moved, and I can put the new tank in and just reconnect everything. If not, I have new connectors to be able to bypass that and put in new connectors as I need to. But right now, I have to drain the tank. This is going to take a little bit. While the tank is draining, I'm going to work on getting stuff ready for the next step. There's a little clamping system here that I need to undo to be able to get at the wire. Now, did you know that some of these screwdrivers with the replaceable bits will fit some of these metal working screws on their own? No adapter needed. that part is done. Got more air into the system, more water comes out. Alright, so the water has finally stopped, and in some ways I'm kind of glad that I didn't catch it on camera, because the last half liter was very, very dark brown. To see that come out of my water tank and know that this was water we were bathing in. This was stuff that was being used to wash dishes and stuff. So now we have a lovely job of getting the old hot water tank out of the way and then putting the new tank in and getting the new tank leveled. Tires on the dolly are flat. You need to make sure that this is level. I doubt if it is at the moment. Son of a... The clamp is meant to make sure that your wire doesn't move. So you never end up with accidental grounding or accidental energizing of your tank, so that, you know, you touch it in passing for whatever reason, and suddenly you're underground wishing for paramedics. You don't want that. You don't want to make mistakes with electricity. Now, I'm not recommending you do this job yourself. I am comfortable enough with this level of work that I'm okay. I feel okay doing this. I don't think you should do it just because you saw me do it. Mostly you're along to see if I get myself electrocuted or covered in water and then electrocuted. Actually, considering the water is going to be a pain in the butt in order to get at things, let's do that part first, and then we'll do the wiring afterwards. So, because of the way that my pipes are connected and stuff over here, I got PEX line above, this should be relatively easy. This is my hot water out. And of course, before I do that, I'm going to have to take that one back off because I remembered I got Teflon tape. And I'd rather use a couple of dollars worth of Teflon tape than have to do this damn thing again. So I'm wrapping the threads in Teflon tape. It's really thin sort of plastic, but this stuff lasts for a long time. And it will help make sure that you don't have leaks in your boiler, in your connection. Considering how close it's going to be to live wires, I don't want it to leak. I don't want to put too much on there that it burdens the joint kind of thing. If the nut doesn't want to actually twist on here because you got too much Teflon tape under, you didn't save yourself any trouble. I want it tight, but I don't want to put leverage onto the wrench in order to get it more tight. And I should have wrapped the Teflon tape clockwise, not counterclockwise, because now as I'm twisting it on, I'm kind of twisting off the tape. But I had enough of it on there that hopefully this will still do what I need it to do. So one thing to keep an eye out for, I had the tank all nice and leveled. This is my emergency valve, so I can quickly give the lever a quick twist and release extra water. As I'm tightening these nuts, I'm kind of twisting the whole barrel. So it's important to make sure you put your barrel back the way it was. And then I had to check it for level again to make sure I didn't ruin that. One thing to consider is obstacles for future maintenance. This pipe, very close to there. Luckily, my wrench will pass right and under it, so I can easily twist the knob off. So now it's the electrical time. Okay, so this is the electrical connections for the hot water boiler. This is a few days later, well, maybe more than a week later. I've started to edit the video and realized that my camera somehow shut off, or maybe didn't have enough room left for the file. Either way, I lost footage of the electrical connection. So you can see it here. I don't have the power shut off for the boiler, so I'm not going to take it apart and do it again just to show it on video. That's a bit unsafe, and I'd rather keep my hot water boiler on. So you can see here This one in the back is a red to red connection. There's the black to black connection. And the ground goes down to the grounding screw inside the cap. It's a simple enough thing. And then you screw the cap on. So in the end, it looks all nice and neat like this. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll take your due diligence, and before you attempt a project like this, you'll make sure that you have everything lined up, everything understood and worked out. If you have a gas boiler, that's a different issue. That's a more complicated install and not something to be taken lightly. I don't want anything bad to happen to you or your home, so be careful. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. My name is Steven. This is Harsey Light Exports.